We've heard of companies shutting down. We've heard of shops shutting down. But have you heard of a government shutting down? Well, it's happened in the US. At midnight on Wednesday, the US government shut down. It's their first shutdown in almost 7 years, and it's triggered a lot of confusion. So tonight, we'll break it down. What led to the shutdown? How is President Donald Trump reacting? And what will the impact be? Now, the trigger is a deadlock on spending. America's new financial year started earlier today, but the government doesn't have a budget. President Trump's Republican Party has proposed a bill, but the opposition Democrats have rejected it. They want to ramp up spending on public health care. Also, they want to roll back previous cuts. This deadlock has triggered the shutdown. Because the Republicans alone cannot pass a budget that requires 60 votes in the US Senate. And how many do they have? Only 53. Both sides are hoping to capitalize on this crisis. The Republicans are hoping the public will blame the Democrats for the shutdown. And the Democrats? They're billing their fight as the good fight, a fight for cheaper health care. And this situation isn't unprecedented. America has had around 20 shutdowns in recent history. Trump's first term had 3 of them. His last shutdown in late 2018 was the longest in history. It lasted 36 days and cost the US $3 billion. Which brings us to the second question. What will the impact be? Well, brace for some disruptions. If the government doesn't have money, its operations will be hit. Essential workers will have to keep turning up, like air traffic controllers or hospital staff or law enforcement. But here's the catch. They will have to work without pay. Of course, this isn't a sustainable arrangement. During the last shutdown, many workers called in sick. And what about non-essential workers? Around 750,000 of them will be put on unpaid leave. Their daily compensation is around $400 million. But guess who will get paid? All US members of Congress. They will continue to get paid throughout the shutdown. But let's assume you don't live in America. Then how does it affect you? Outside America, embassy operations will be affected. Existing visa appointments could be delayed, and new ones won't be taken. The bigger worry is the spillover. Shutdowns can drag down the US economy. Each week could shave 0.1 or 0.2% off the GDP growth. Again, there's a catch. For starters, the impact depends on how long the shutdown lasts. And secondly, the economic hit can be reversed. Basically, when the shutdown ends, the growth rebounds. Which brings us to the last question. How is Trump reacting? Surprisingly well. Yes, he has blamed the Democrats for what happened, but he's also looking at it as an opportunity.
We can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them and irreversible by them, like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things that they like, cutting programs that they like. They're taking a risk by having a shutdown because of the shutdown, we can do things medically and other ways, including benefits. We can cut large numbers of people out. We don't want to do that, but we don't want fraud, waste, and abuse. And, we're cutting that.
So Trump says he will lay off workers during the shutdown. He also plans to cut so-called wasteful spending. It's unclear whether he is serious. Maybe it's a tactic to pressure the Democrats to come to the table. Or maybe Trump actually sees an opportunity here, a chance to do what his campaign promised, to downsize the US government. Precedent says the Democrats will come around because the opposition is inevitably blamed for a shutdown. But for the world, it's a wake-up call. We have built a global system with the US at its center, whether it's for international payments or global trade or even foreign investments. But look how unreliable the US is. and America's political differences are not reducing. If anything, the gap is widening, meaning these shutdowns could become even more common. Let's hope it's a wake-up call for the world.